Well, welcome back. Welcome back. One of the things that I like to do a couple times a year for mom, or you can do it for the special lady in your life, the girlfriend, the wife, whatever you have, is a little stuffed baked lobster. Now, here's the deal. One year, I'm going out with this girl. I really want to impress her, so I go to this fancy restaurant, whatever, and she orders a stuffed baked lobster. I said, that's great, because that's what she's been wanting, so get what you want. Now, I look over on the menu, just glance over, like us guys do, at the price, and it says MKT. What is MKT, I'm wondering now? I don't want to ask the waiter any questions because I'm trying to be cool or whatever. It's like, but this MKT, that's not any kind of money that I know about. I'm not familiar with that. Everything else has a price next to it. The steak has a price. The shrimp has a price. The pasta dish has a price. How come there's no price next to the lobster? It just says MKT. What's that deal? That means market. And that means they're charging you whatever they feel like charging that particular day, what they paid for the lobster, I guess. So anyway, long story short, and $300 that I didn't have to spend. It was a good date, but I don't know. If I could do it all over again, I'd probably just make her one at home. So that's what we're going to do today. We'll make a stuffed baked lobster. Now, I think a lot of people are intimidated by making lobster, and they shouldn't be. It's really very, very simple food to cook. But unfortunately, one thing you do have to do is you're going to have to put the old guy down. So let's talk about how we're going to do that today. Now, this lobster I picked up from my local supermarket. Generally speaking, you pay about 11, 12 bucks a pound. Now, you'll pay a little bit more, obviously not only because you get a bigger lobster because it's more pounds, but also because the bigger the lobster, the more price per pound goes up as well. So this is about a 1.5 pound lobster, and it wasn't too bad. Probably hit me up for a little bit less than 20 bucks. So is it worth it? Absolutely. As opposed to going out to your local restaurant, your local steakhouse, you might spend 5 times that much on this size lobster. So let's go ahead and do it. Now, like I said, unfortunately, we have to put the old guy down. He's still moving around. As you see, he's got some good color to him. He's still feisty and whatnot. I know of no other lobster to cook other than live lobster. Sometimes you can buy frozen lobster tails and things like that, and that's great for a soup if you're making a lobster bisque or something like that. But for this dish, if you happen to see something in your grocery store frozen, this, that, and the other, that's not what you want to do. You want to go with the live lobster. So let's go ahead and get him prepped up and get him set to go. So like I said, unfortunately, he's still kicking, and what we're going to do is all right, so here we're back, and this is not the fun part. This is where we have to go ahead and put the old guy out of his misery. So what we're going to basically do is split him right down the middle, okay? Then we're going to wash him off, and then we're going to get him right into the pot right away so he can start cooking. The general rule for lobster is about 2 to 3 minutes per pound. He's a 1.5 pound lobster, and the fact that we're not cooking him whole, we're splitting him in half, is also going to cut down on our cooking time just a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and split him, and then we'll get him in the pot. We're going to wash him out first at the center, and then we'll get him in the pot and see what's ready to go. So here we go. When you do it, you want to put your first cut right at the bottom of the tail, okay, right in that back right there. Watch your fingers. You can go straight down with your knife, okay? Cut him straight down the middle. Woo. Strong hands, strong hands, strong hands. All right, there we go. We're going to come back. Got him cut there. Give me a hard time on that tail. We're going to come back, do the same thing on the other end, go in the other direction. So right where we left off down the middle. Those claws out of the way. Folks, keep those rubber bands on that lobster until he comes out of the pot, okay? It's a small animal with a powerful pinch, and he can definitely do some damage with those claws, okay? So we're going to go ahead and take him over to the sink and wash him. All right, so we're ready to go. We've got our guy split down the middle, and we cleaned out the little green stuff, the intestinal tract there, and kind of washed him off a little bit. We cracked those claws to loosen them up, all right? So we're all set. Like I said, the general rule for lobster is about 2.5 to 3 minutes per pound in the pot. But because we split them in half, because we're not cooking them whole, we probably won't need quite that much time. And keep in mind, we're going to finish him off in the oven. So let's go ahead and get him in. for about a good 2.5, 3 minutes. Even though he's a pound and a half, 2 pound, almost 2 pound lobster, I think about 3 minutes is going to do it. So let's get him into our boil. Keep the lid on mine nice and tight. And we'll come back in about 2 minutes and be ready to go. All right, so here we go. Our guy's been in here about a minute and a half. You're going to see the color change good. When that color gets bright red, it means you know he's ready to go. So we're going to give him about another good 30 seconds. The last thing we want to do, like I said, is overcook him and have him come out tough, because we are going to still go ahead and bake him in the oven. So we want him to come out on the tender side of life. On the tender side of life. So what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and pull him out. He's done. He's not done, but he's done it where we want him to be. And we're going to go ahead, get him on our pan. I lined it with a little aluminum foil. Doesn't help with the cooking, but it does make the cleanup a little bit easier. So let's get him on here. Get him on here. Woohoo! That's hot. That's hot. So he is halfway home, and we are halfway there. All right. And we're going to pause right there, and let's get our stuffing together. All right, so we're back. Now we've got our guy, and he's sitting there steaming. He's just about ready, and that's okay because we pulled him out fairly undercooked, so he's still cooking as he's sitting here. But meanwhile, I want to get my stuffing together. So when it comes to my lobster, I'm going to keep it simple as possible on my stuffing for the bake. I bought my local grocery store, and I bought some jumbo lump crab meat. Now, you can buy crab meat usually in lump, jumbo lump, or claw. Claw meat is probably a little bit too pungent for what I want to do with the lobster. It's great when you add a little bit to your crab cakes or something like that, but for this purpose, I'm going to use just a straight claw meat, or just the white part of the crab. So this is only 8 ounces here. I'll probably use a little bit more than half of it. Nothing wrong with being generous. Now, here's the deal. Lobster and crab does not make for an inexpensive meal, but when you do it at home, it's really not that bad compared to what you pay eating out. So actually, what the heck, let's go ahead. We'll give it all 8 ounces of crab meat in there. Now usually with pasteurized crab meat, you don't have to worry about any kind of shells. Fresh crab meat would be different, but usually when you buy pasteurized from your local grocer, you don't have to worry about any shells. But we'll flip through it just to make sure we don't have any crunchies in there. It doesn't look like we have any. It looks really good. It's that white flaky meat, all right? So to that, I'm going to add a little bit of butter, which I melted, not much. I'm going to add some fresh parsley. I'm going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese, not much. I'm going to add some breadcrumbs. I'm using panko, sometimes referred to as Japanese style breadcrumbs. Usually the only difference is they're a little bit larger than like you'd see like the Italian breadcrumbs you buy in the store. And the other difference is they cut the ends off of them before they actually bake and dry out the breadcrumbs, so there's no brown, they're a little bit whiter. So not too much. We don't want it to taste like breading. We want it to taste like crab. So I'm going to toss that in there like that, nice and light. Now we're going to season it up, kind of gentle on the seasoning. So just a little bit kosher salt, sea salt. Go with just a little bit white pepper. Okay, a little bit of cracked black pepper to give it some zest. And then I got to step away because I'm missing one ingredient. Got some paprika. I'm going to go with some paprika. Not too much, just a little bit. And then I need some garlic. I think I left my garlic over here. Let me check. All right, so we're back. Now we've got our guy, and he's sitting there steaming. He's just about ready, and that's okay because we pulled him out fairly undercooked, so he's still cooking as he's sitting here. But meanwhile, I want to get my stuffing together. So when it comes to my lobster, I'm going to keep it simple as possible on my stuffing for the bake. I bought my local grocery store, and I bought some jumbo lump crab meat. Now, you can buy crab meat usually in lump, jumbo lump, or claw. Claw meat is probably a little bit too pungent for what I want to do with the lobster. It's great when you add a little bit to your crab cakes or something like that, but for this purpose, I'm going to use just a straight claw meat, or just the white part of the crab. So this is only 8 ounces here. I'll probably use a little bit more than half of it. Nothing wrong with being generous. Now, here's the deal. Lobster and crab does not make for an inexpensive meal, but when you do it at home, it's really not that bad compared to what you pay eating out. So actually, what the heck, let's go ahead. We'll give it all 8 ounces of crab meat in there. Now usually with pasteurized crab meat, you don't have to worry about any kind of shells. Fresh crab meat would be different, but usually when you buy pasteurized from your local grocer, you don't have to worry about any shells. But we'll flip through it just to make sure we don't have any crunchies in there. It doesn't look like we have any. It looks really good. It's that white flaky meat, all right? So to that, I'm going to add a little bit of butter, which I melted, not much. I'm going to add some fresh parsley. I'm going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese, not much. I'm going to add some breadcrumbs. I'm using panko, sometimes referred to as Japanese style breadcrumbs. Usually the only difference is they're a little bit larger than like you'd see like the Italian breadcrumbs you buy in the store, and the other difference is they cut the ends off of them before they actually bake and dry out the breadcrumbs, so there's no brown, they're a little bit whiter. So not too much, we don't want it to taste like breading, we want it to taste like crab. So I'm going to toss that in there like that, nice and light. Now we're going to season it up, kind of gentle on the seasoning. So just a little bit kosher salt, sea salt, or just a little bit white pepper, okay? A little bit of cracked black pepper to give it some zest. And then I got to step away because I'm missing one ingredient. Got some paprika. I'm going to go with some paprika. Not too much, just a little bit. And then I need some garlic. I think I left my garlic over here. Let me check. All right, so here we go. We got our crab meat. We got our breadcrumbs. We got a little bit of melted butter. We seasoned it up. A little sea salt, not much, just a little bit. A little black pepper, a little paprika. Do a little parsley in there for color. And I've got some chopped garlic. I'm going to throw that in there as well. Okay. Here's a tad bit more butter. I'm going to mix that all together gently. Don't want to smash it up because I don't want to obliterate that crab meat and turn it to mush. I want it to stay nice and fluffy and textured. I want it to not only taste like crab, I want it to feel like crab in your mouth. So there we go. We got our stuffing all together, nice and garlicky. I think I might add just a little bit more pepper to that. What do you think? Just a little bit. All right, very good. So now we're all set. The only thing we do is stuff our lobster. So set to the side. I'm going to bring the big man back into the picture. All right, so here we go. We got the big man all set to get stuffed. I'm going to go ahead and just by hand, just going to pull that tail meat out. It's not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just going to pull it out. So when the time comes to eat, he's a little bit more friendly. And I'm going to stuff it right back in that tail. So it sticks up a little bit. Same thing. All right. We're all good. Now we're going to put our stuffing in. And we're going to stuff pretty much the body of the lobster up here. So you want it overflowing. Nice on top. Almost like a big fat crab cake on top of the lobster. Same thing on the other side. Now keep in mind, this is pasteurized crab meat. It's cooked all it needs to be cooked. You know, so we want to serve it warm. We don't want to serve it cold. But at the same time, once we put it in the oven, we don't have to obliterate it. I'm not going to let any of it go to waste. I got some extra stuffing here, more than I need. I'm going to stuff it all the way down the tail if need be, because I don't want any of this stuff to go to waste. Bang. Now he's all set. I got a little bit of butter here. I like it to brown on top, so I'm going to go with a little bit more butter on top, just like if you were eating lobster, you did plenty of drawn butter. I'm going to add just a little bit more breadcrumbs to the top. Give it some good color once we bake it off, okay? All right, there he's set. He's ready to go in the oven. So let's take a second, make sure our oven's preheated, and we'll pop him in there. All right, so we're all set to go. We've poached him. We poached him in our lobster boil. We pulled that lobster meat out of the tail a little bit so it's easier to get to, a little more friendly when it comes to eat. We took our stuffing. We baked him all the way, stuffed him all the way through. We add a little bit more butter on top so he's going to brown nice with little breadcrumbs, give a little texture. He's all set on a cookie sheet. Like I said, I put a little aluminum foil on here. Aesthetically, it doesn't look so great, but it really helps the cleanup. So it's going to make it that much easier. Now we're going to go ahead and pop him in the oven. All right, so he's ready. Let's get him out the oven. Ooh. All right. So all set there. Now I'm just going to plate him, so. You just let me know when. All right, so we're all set. We got the big guy at the oven. It's all looking good. One thing I do before I put him on the plate, I want to make sure that meat is kind of poking out. You can tell when it's done. The meat plumps out and it's nice and tender all the way through, so that's good. Wasn't worried about him being done. If anything, we overcooked him. Now we got to get a little presentation, so put him on the plate there. Put the other half on the plate there. You can do something fancy with those claws if you want to. It's not necessary. My big thing is I'm going to keep the crab meat in there so he looks good and tastes good and eats good. Don't waste any of that crab meat. Get it off of there. Get it into there. I got some lemons here still left over, so let's do a little lemon garnish here because you're going to want to squeeze a little bit on there too, maybe to eat. So get some lemons folded in there. Some more lemon on the plate back here. And let's just throw some parsley on there. Give it some color. Big wad, big wad. We're all set. He's good to go. There's your stuffed big lobster, folks. Guys, if you ever want to impress the girlfriend and wife, she comes home from a hard days at work, you got her a stuffed big lobster and a nice glass of white wine, some Orvieto, a little Sauvignon Blanc, chilled, ready to go. You've got on your nice fuchsia shirt. Hey, baby, how was your day? You're all set. Looks good. Let's eat. All right, so guys, there we go. You got that all set for Mama when she walks through the door. You got the stuffed baked lobster. Sweetheart, I was thinking about you all today. Today I went to the grocery store. I've been slaving, and I made you a nice lobster. I stuffed it with some crab meat and some garlic butter. I think you're really gonna like it. Got a nice glass of white wine for you. You're a hero. I mean, that's got to be at least like 95 brownie points. So, like my grandmother always said, help yourself to what you see. What you don't see, don't ask for. Enjoy. All right, guys. So there we go. Finished product. You know what I mean? The loved one walks through the door, your favorite guy, your favorite gal, she's had a hard day at work. You let her know your day was even harder. Baby, I've been thinking about you all day, and I was tired, but I went to the store. I made you a nice stuffed baked lobster. I stuffed it with some crab meat and some garlic butter. Been thinking about you all day. Got you a nice chilled glass of white wine here, Orvieto, your favorite. So we're all ready to eat. So I hope you guys try it at home. Let me know what you think. Like my grandmother always said, help yourself to what you see. What you don't see, don't ask for. Enjoy. All right, so here we go. The final product. Wasn't a whole lot of work. We didn't sweat, no tears, no bloodshed. So here we go. She comes home from work. Baby, I'm ready for you. I've been thinking about you all day. I went to the store, made you a nice lobster. Baked it, stuffed it with some crab meat, a little garlic butter on top, just the way you like it. Got you a nice glass of white wine. Sweetheart, I hope you enjoy.